everyone. Welcome those of you who are live in the Empowered Woman Collective. Welcome those of you who are on the YouTube channel or listening through the Empowered podcast. Welcome to an incredible interview that I have the privilege of having today with Miss Christy Ware. Hello, Christy. How are you?
Hey, Deanna. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I'm so happy to. Before we dive into all the things around self-care synergy and these beautiful pillars that you've created as to how an individual can feel balanced and harmonized in who they truly are, can you share a little bit about yourself? Who are you? Who's Christy for those who have never connected with you or read your book yet or been in your world yet?
For sure. Yes. Thank you. Yes, my name is Christy Ware. I'm a holistic health coach, a speaker, and the author of Synergize Your Health, the 6 Elements for Greater Vitality and Joy. I've got a background in kinesiology and nutrition. And, I got into the field of health and wellness because I really wanted to take better care of myself and my choices. I wanted to live a happier, healthier life than the path I was on. And, so many of us, right? That's what we're looking for. And in doing that, I realized that I didn't only want that for me, but I also want to help others to do the same. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what I came to realize is that, I hadn't been taking good care of myself. I was consistently, running myself into the ground physically. Nutrition choices that I was making contained way too much sugar. So not a recipe for performance or good health. Mindset was something I had no idea what it was, let alone have a practice. And then, meditation was something others did. And I couldn't see how it could benefit me. Right. And so those are my beliefs back then. And really I've been coaching for 13 years. And over the last probably 4 or 5 years, I really started, seeing patterns. And you probably see this with people too, patterns and ways of living. And when certain things are brought together, we see that sense of greater vitality and balance and more joy, right? And so those elements have become really the platform of what I coach, what I educate on, how I live my life. And the interesting piece about the book and, just kind of sharing my elements is that 5 of them were really obvious. So they came into play. They were really easy to write about. They were just these things that were there and I knew exactly what they were. And then the 6th one fell into place about 6 months before my book was done. And it's just this really interesting thing. So the elements, so you share with the elements: rest, movement, connection, nutrition, mindfulness, and then self-love. Mm-hmm. And self-love came last, not because I think it was less important, but I think it's the thing that I was most challenged by. And so it became the last thing I wrote about. It's the last thing I talked about because I was hiding that. Mm-hmm. And so wasn't sure if I was in it myself and I could really speak to it. So I didn't talk about it, So anyway, so those are the 6 elements. That's what I really teach about, educate on, talk about, live my life by. And that's the premise for pretty much everything that I do. So
I love it. That's amazing. I want to speak to what you just shared, but before I do, for those of you who are local in British Columbia, Christy, you're in Vernon, right?
That's right.
So we've got another local author in the house, which is very exciting. Go BC, go Canada. And one of the things, like the fact that you shared that self-care came sort of after, like that final piece. One of the things that I've noticed, which I'm sure you found in yourself and probably in your clients as well, is we can do all the other things like the rest and the movement, the connection, all those pieces. We can take the actions, but the self-love is really about the presence with which we do it, or the embodiment that we're feeling while we're taking those actions. And I've seen so many people rush their way to yoga class, show up just on time, go through the motions, do the sun salutations, leave the yoga class just as irritated as when they walked in. And that action of yoga that's not an act of self-love in that moment. That is another to-do on your to-do list. And that's what I'm hearing from you, is that's what you wanted to bring some awareness to, and what your intuition was guiding you to. Teach the people about this. Also teach yourself.
That's right. Totally. It's walking the talk, right? Yeah. It's figuring out, where's my balance come from? Like you said, if it's just checking off a box on the to-do list, that's not really what we're going for. We want something deeper. We want something more meaningful. So how do we achieve that? Yeah. Agree.
So those of you who are live with us in the Empowered Woman Collective, I would love for you to comment in. Let us know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, you guys know how it goes. #replay. Mm-hmm. And Christy, can you tell us again the title of your book? And I'm just going to type it into the comments right now so that we can have it there, so everyone can find their way to it, so they can get a copy afterwards. And tell us a little bit more about how you came to be an author, like how this book came into fruition.
Totally. Yeah. Thank you. So the book is called Synergize Your Health, the
Mhm.
6 elements for greater vitality and joy.
Yeah.
And so those are the elements I just shared. So synergize your health, 6 elements for greater vitality and joy. And, you know, I guess I felt like years ago I had a story to tell. I feel like my life experiences have brought me to the place that I'm at now. And I felt like I had a story. And the only way I was going to get that story out was to write it. And
Mhm.
so would be about 3 years ago now, so 2.5 years to publication. But I literally dedicated Sunday mornings was the time that my family was sleeping and I got up early and hit the computer and literally, started writing. And I was like, whatever, wherever this goes, I'm just going to let it take me. And I wrote for 2.5 years and finally got to a place where I had enough content and what I wanted to share and put it all together in a book. And the concepts came together. And like I say, the self-love came last. So it was the thing that the last 6 months, I was like, there's something missing. I've got the 5, there's got to be a 6 element. And what is it? And sat down with my wife and had this great conversation. And I said, it's the self-love. And the light bulb went on and I got excited and I was like, okay, this is the last piece. And so, yeah, here we are. And that's the result of that.
That's incredible. And I love hearing that too, because I know we have a few authors in the group as well, soon to be authors, authors who've already written. But what was it like balancing your own business, having your family, your personal life, and all those things, and writing the book? And not only just writing, but also publishing the book. Let's talk about that for a second.
Oh man, that's a process. It's such a process. There's so many moving pieces. Like you said, I have a son, he's 7. I have a relationship, with my wife. I have, our business, and she's got her own business too. So we're constantly bouncing ideas off each other for that. Taking care of the home, we take care of the gardens here in our complex that we live at. Like there's just so many things. It's challenging. It was challenging to do all of that. I think the one saving grace is that I feel in myself that I'm a very consistent, action oriented person. So if I've got a plan in place, which was Sunday mornings, and if that was the plan, I knew I would stick to it. And if it took me 5 years, I knew I would get there and I wasn't trying to rush the process. There were times when I was, but I knew that if I missed a Sunday, I didn't beat myself up. If something came up and I was sick, I knew that that's okay. It's the process this is supposed to happen,
Right.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds to me like the way that I've described it, and I think you describe it as well, is that's really finding that balance between the masculine and feminine, with the masculine being that structure and the drive and the action taking, and the feminine being flowing with what is present without holding that guilt
Mhm.
over yourself that you didn't or you should have done more. And how have you
Totally.
found that journey in your life?
As far as the masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the, I talk about this in the book, and yeah, if you read it in my book, it's when I met my wife. So I guess a little bit of backstory, it kind of helps.
Yeah,
So
take us
my
on a
ex,
journey.
take you on a journey because it's just easier to hear to understand the context. So my ex-wife and I were together for almost 7 years,
Mhm.
and in that relationship, near the end, it got quite tenuous, and she had a vision for me of who I was, or at least who she wanted me to be in the relationship, that didn't match what I felt.
Mhm.
So outwardly, if you meet me on the street, I've got short hair. I wear primarily, male clothing. You look at me and think automatically masculine. Like
Mhm.
that's the visual, right?
Mhm.
And so for her, I think she really put me in the box of being dad, of being caretaker, being caregiver. Sorry, in a way that I was working outside the home. I was taking care of the fix-it jobs, and she wanted to be home with the kids, and she wanted the very feminine role. So pushed me into the box of being like, this is my expectations, and you're either with it or you're not. You're with me
Yeah.
on this journey or you're not, in this way.
Mhm.
And so I felt like my masculine and feminine wasn't very balanced, and I didn't have that confidence in myself to say, actually, that's not for me. So eventually I did come to that place and I left. And within a couple of years, met Flora, who's now my wife, and
Whom I
we
adore as well.
Deanna knows Flora, yeah, exactly. And Flora was a very confident, very much in her body, like her feminine masculine was very well balanced. She was just very confident in the way she carried herself and the way she walked through the world. And that was something that I really longed for. I wanted to find that.
Mhm.
And so very soon into the relationship, she's a triple threat performer. So if anyone in the group's a performer or listening, she sings, she dances, she acts, she does it all. And so burlesque was a huge part of her life. And
Mhm.
in the little town of Nelson where we lived,
In Kootenays?
her and Yeah, the Kootenays, exactly. Her and her troupe of burlesque folks they basically ran the show. Like they really had it dialed, and they did shows multiple times a year, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I got roped into being what they call the sweeper. And the sweeper basically cleans up after an act. So what I was able to embrace that I had never done before was I literally wore a tailed suit with a bow tie, and I looked very masculine. It was black. It was like I really felt sexy. I felt great in my body, and I was like, yes, I get to wear this suit and go out on stage and do what needed to be done, while still at the end of the routine was ended up in a pair of booty shorts and like a little bit of electrical tape, and I was totally like feminine. I was back to me being the feminine self, right? So I was able to find, oh wow, that part of me I really enjoyed with the suit and the tails, and that made me feel really masculine and strong, powerful, all of that. But then I also got to be in that soft, gentle, I'm still a woman and I'm still here as a woman. And so that
Wow.
was a really beautiful experience.
That's incredible, Christy. That is so incredible to have not only the balancing within the energies, but balancing of those two within your body in the same experience, like within the same evening, the same act per se, or the same
Mm-hmm.
there, and let your body be expressed in these different ways and find the ways in which each of it feels right. Each of it feels like
Mm-hmm.
that part of it, who you truly are being expressed in that moment. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was a very insightful experience. Nothing I'd ever done before. I was a
Yeah.
nervous wreck. I was never very confident in my body. And I know that you talk a lot about body image and, being, feeling good in our body, letting our femininity flow or whatever feels right in the moment. I know you talk a lot about that. And so for me, I don't think I've ever really embraced myself, and I'd never really appreciated my body or let anyone else do the same. So it was kind of this moment being like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go on stage and literally be down to next to nothing, and everyone's going to see me. And is that going to be okay?
Yeah.
And so, and it was, and I did it many times, and we did more acts, and we, brought joy to people's lives through our silly performances. And some people cried, and we had this beautiful opening that I think I was going through the journey along with them. So it
Mhm.
was me finding myself within the acts, and now have been able, 10 years later, been together over a decade, I've been able to put it into practice in my life, not only on stage, but now how do I take that into my life? So,
That's so
yeah.
beautiful. I'm really glad you shared that story. Thank you. And
Hmm.
I'm just curious in terms of like taking the experience of stepping into the embodiment of both masculine energy, feminine energy. How is that playing a role in your life now? How is that showing up? What is your tangible life experience for you being balanced in both?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's ongoing. I feel like you never, I don't know, for me anyways, I don't feel like it's ever really just very clear, right? It's very fluid. And so the best example I can give is having our son. And so we went through that process. Flora was the one who carried. So I was there through the whole process of getting pregnant. And then when Griffin was born, I was standing by her bedside, and I got to have skin to skin and hold him very first person and brought him over to her, and just all these beautiful experiences. And so now as a parent, I think that's the biggest way that I've had to find that balance.
Mhm.
And the biggest reason I think, and if anyone's here listening and you're a queer family or you can appreciate where I'm coming from, um, I am not the birth mom. So
Yeah.
where does that leave me?
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so in that whole process of deciding to have a child, it was like, where do I fit into that mix?
Mm.
I cried. I was like having an identity crisis. I'm like, I'm not mom, but I'm not dad. Who am I? And we came to this, we laid on the couch one night and scrolled through names for mom that weren't mom so that I could have some kind of identity, something to grab onto. And we came up with Mimi. It's M-I-M-I. And what it means is beloved in Italian. And it
Mm.
was like this beautiful, okay, I can be Mimi and you can be mama and we're good. It's going to work out. And so coming to that and then having him born into my life and now going, okay, we bake together. But then on the weekend I coach your hockey, and then we go and wrestle and have pillow fights on the bed because that's what I do. And then in the next breath, I'm like cuddling you because you've hurt yourself and you're crying, right? Like, so there's really coming through that flow of doing both and being okay with both and just letting it be whatever it is and not putting a label on it. I think that's been the biggest part.
It's my whole body is just in full body tingles, just really getting this intimate view into the experience within your relationship and your family. It's so beautiful. Thank you for articulating and sharing this just so beautifully.
Mm.
I can feel the love and not only the love within your family, but the love within yourself when you came to that realization of who you get to be. you know, in terms of this world where we have so many labels about everything possible, and you got to create your own version of what you wanted that to look and feel like for you, that allowed your soul to come through, that allowed yourself to be truly expressed. That's so beautiful, Christy. Oh,
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I do feel different than I ever have in my life. I don't know whether, it's this past year learning a lot about myself, my book launch and just everything that's gone on, but it's yeah, coming to that place within myself of more acceptance, more confidence, I think yeah, it's pretty amazing.
well, and so as you were speaking that as well, as I was feeling the full body tingles and all of these things, the word that came to mind, which is part of your book title, is this essence of synergy. And it really feels to me in the stories that you just hear in these last few moments shared that there is this really synergistic experience that you've been having ongoing throughout your life. And can you talk to us a little bit about why that word? What does that mean to you? How does that show up in your experience?
Yeah, great question. When I originally got, was putting together the book and deciding on the title and just different things, you said at the beginning, the word pillar was coming up for me a lot. And I was really playing with that word pillar, and we were, cornerstones and these different words. And then the one night we're sitting there going, wait a second, like pillars are these stone structures that are very rigid and they are not connected. And I thought, no, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. Like, you're right. I live my life with this element of synergy. What is that?
Yeah.
And so then elements came into to play instead of it kind of replaced the pillar idea. And elements are these things that work together, right? They're all interconnected. And so then I was like, what's the word? And then synergy came to mind. It was like, right, everything is interwoven. It's never, if we go back to the health idea, it's never we get to just drink water and eat vegetables and exercise and we're going to be good to go, right? Or we never, we just don't get good sleep and then wake up and exercise, but then go eat, fast food. It doesn't work like that. So what is that word, and how do we string it all together? And so then synergy became the thing.
I love that. Yeah, I think in my journey, the word holistic has had that concept to me, and that's that's the one that I lean into, is this idea of holistic, where it's like all of these like cycles or circles of energy all are interswirling together, and how confusing it can be in our Western culture, where everything is so compartmentalized, and that it's supposed to be like you go to a specific doctor for this, a specific doctor for this, specific doctor for this. That's not allowing that synergy or that holistic experience to be occurring, where I find it fascinating. I mean, I could talk for hours about the things that I think could adjust in our we won't necessarily go there.
It's another conversation for another day.
And I just want to comment. It doesn't show me, you guys, whose name this is, so I'm sorry, and I can't seem to find it on my phone. But someone who's here with us right now was saying that what you were sharing with your family and your journey of becoming Mimi resonates in her bones, and she loves the balance that you've cultivated and the allowance of every aspect of yourself to be here. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I think it brings us closer together when we can share those pieces that people can connect to, and we anchor into that, and we're okay to be ourselves, then others can relate. So thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Well, and I've always found that I've always been really, really drawn to First Nations culture. And one of the things that I love about their culture is the stories that are shared, and that the importance of stories and of sharing those stories from a deep, authentic place. And I always believe, like, that's how my conference a couple of years ago got started, was I just wanted a chance for women to see themselves in other women's stories. And when we do so, even though the outward expression of our story is completely different, we get to feel so much more like we belong, like we're connected, like we're a part of something greater, because we're all experiencing the same thing, just with different expressions. We all just want to feel like we belong. We all want to learn how to embody self-love. We all want to find a way of having health and wealth and vitality within ourselves. And this way we get to do it together.
Totally. And I love the visual that you gave. You said there's like these things with the whole combination swirling about. Yeah, whether it's the circles or that's like the tornado spiral or whatever it is, they're all interweaving. And with the work you do, I know that we do some similar stuff, but it's never one practitioner. It's never one thing that just solves all the problems, or creates that sense of vitality. It's not that. It's a combo of things that come together. So
yeah, and that's what I found too, especially when it comes to health journeys. A lot of people, they when you start taking on one new, healthy, amazing experience, you tend to take on multiples. And so then I've heard people say in the past, like, well, I don't know if it's actually directly related to this, or directly related to my meditation practice, or directly related to this coach I hired, or whatever. But the way that I see it is, it's always related to you saying yes to welcoming in all of that support, or all of those resources, or all of those choices, because we are I agree with you. We are dynamic, ever evolving beings. Therefore, nothing is ever just stabilized. So when I asked you about masculine and feminine and how it's just this ongoing journey, of course, we're never the same as we were yesterday or even a few moments ago. We are consistently dynamically changing. And I think that's really special. Like, it's an incredible experience to be alive and be a human being.
That's right. Ever evolving human being. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm curious, when you brought your book forward, and then so you talked a little bit about the process of bringing it to fruition. What is your hope for people to receive from this? Or like why is this book in the world, you know?
Oh, yeah, great question. I haven't been asked that yet. I think for me, it's really taking. Well, I mean, I even say this in the one of the taglines on the back. It's really taking the science, a little bit of the science, a little bit of the stories, and taking some strategies and saying, hey, let's again put that all together and help you find what lights you up, help you figure out what makes you feel vital, what makes you brings you happiness. And sometimes I think we just don't know. And so I hope that when people read it, they come to this place of, oh, right, I hadn't considered that. And wow, it's not as hard as I thought to find happiness and health. I don't think I made it into this big thing, but really it's these small little strings of elements that come together that make you feel good. And so I hope when people read it, that's really the mission with the book, is just to help people find those strategies that are simple and that make the biggest impact, so it doesn't feel overwhelming and stressful.
Yeah, I love that. And what I hear in that, which obviously is one of my favorite words, is you're helping others feel empowered, and
Yes.
that they can. And I mean, honestly, anything that we set our minds to, there are the resources in this world to support us to make it happen. We can accomplish anything we desire, whether that's to be, fully happy and healthy, or to accomplish something in your business, or to accomplish something with your family, whatever it is that you're striving towards. Once you feel empowered, I mean, you can do anything.
Totally.
Including write a book.
That's right. That's crazy.
We both know it's a bit of a feat.
Yes. Yes. Amazing. And it's so worth it. If anyone's hearing this, and like, I don't know how long it took you, Deanna, to write your book, but 2.5 years of writing, and then all the process that goes through the editing and all the stuff to launch it. It's epic. Like, it's a journey and it's a commitment. But when you do it, you feel freaking great. And you're like, I did that thing, and I'm going to help so many people because of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone asked me, how are things going with your book? And I said, well, I actually have a lot of other things going on. I'm not pouring as much energy into Feminine Warrior, but one of the things that I love, and I feel like you'll relate to this, is that resource is now there forever. That at any time someone can pick it up and be served by the words on those pages, and be served by the essence of what was pouring through me at that time. And both of our books have similar themes in that it is about, personal empowerment, coming home to who you truly are. And they get to have that forever. And so someone could find that in, 40 years from now and read it and think, oh, this is what they were talking about back then.
Totally, right?
Of service.
Yes, I agree. I'm totally with you in terms of, I've had the same question. Well, how are things going with your book? And it's like, well, honestly, like, I have multiple coaching programs going on. I have speaking stuff that I'm doing. I have like the million balls going, and I'm not only worried about the book. The people that are going to find it, or meant to find it, are going to figure it out. Right. So it's there forever. And it's, something I wanted to mention, because I think both of our books, go into the self-help category as far as people find it. Me too. I know. And so, no wonder we wrote about it, right?
I know, right?
Yeah. I actually got an email, a few days ago from a business coach. I'm not working with her, but she's been in my world, and she sent me something. And I think the title was something around, the self-help industry. And I was like, what is this? And I opened it, and she was not bashing the self-help industry, but she had a very different perspective on, she thinks that there's lots of people pushing coaching and pushing mentorships and saying, here, I'm going to help you do this and help you do that. And I read her email, and I was like, that's your opinion. And I'm glad that that's your opinion, because we need people like you too. And then I came back to go, actually, that's not my experience. My experience has been, every time I've stepped into reading a book like yours, or Gabby Bernstein, or Marie Forleo, or whatever it was, there was always something that improved my well-being, that I took from that made me a better person tomorrow. And I think it came back to me. I appreciate the self-help. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't be where I am today. Right.
Yep.
So
I agree. I have the exact same experience as you, is that it's all the books that I've read, all of the YouTube videos that I've watched, all of the coaches that I've hired, they've all served me immensely. And I just think it's so, like, one of the things that I want to point out is how you were saying, you got these multiple coaching programs, you've got all of these pieces, speaking gigs, all of these things that are occurring, plus your book launch, all the pieces. When an individual becomes empowered and, balances those 6 synergistic elements and experience of being, we have so much more ability to accomplish with ease. We are able to handle spinning multiple things at the same time, which I believe a lot of us are really, we're designed to do that. We can do that. But if we're not balanced in our foundation as to who we are and what brings us that sense of vitality, we're going to drop those balls. And so you'll notice, well, I've noticed that individuals like yourself and myself who are able to, spend a couple of years pouring our energy into creating a book while also managing all these other pieces, there's always a lot of things going on because we have big visions. We are driven. We want to see change in the world. And there's, for whatever reason, we've been gifted with the message or the wisdom to flow through us. And so I want to take a moment to honor you in that there are so many different avenues with which you are serving others and you're showing up to be of service. And I've witnessed it over the last couple of years that I've known you, primarily online, and seeing the way you're showing up. It's incredible. And thank you for doing the work that you're doing. Thank you for being the person that you are and for offering your life, really, because an entrepreneur is really a lifetime experience, offering your life to share with others and to help others find their own inner self-healing.
Right back at you. It feels the same way, right? We've known each other the last few years and we've both been on this trajectory of just, empowerment and self-help, and we're showing up, and it's amazing. So
we
thank
get to
you.
Rise. Oh, yes. Good.
Totally.
So just as we begin to wrap up a little bit, I just want you to talk a little bit more, share with us how, excuse me, how people can experience more of you, be in your world. What does that look like for them to come be in your world?
Yeah. So I've been doing multiple things, as Deanna shared. If you're local to Vernon or, in the surrounding area, I coach at a small studio gym. So I work with clients. I'm a core rehab specialist sort of by trade. I had a back injury years ago. So I tend to support people with hip pain, back pain, pelvic pain, that kind of thing, getting them back rehabbed. So that's sort of the in-person work that I do. And then I have a group starting in June. It's called Synergize Your Health, the group program. It goes along with my book. And so it's really diving into these 6 elements and taking a closer look at them and how do they play out in my life? How can I tweak them? How can I improve strategies or little strategies to improve each of the elements so that we end up creating that synergy? And it's women only. So and I'm only taking 10 people. So it's a really small group. So that's happening in June. I do corporate as well. So I think, Deanna, you do some of that stuff as well, going into larger organizations and helping them find that vitality and joy, lifting each other up and connection through the group programs. So people can find me on the website. You can go check it out, and lots of info there. It's KristyWare.com. So KristyWare.com, and everything's over there.
Beautiful. That's amazing. Your program coming in June sounds really great. I think it's just like we were talking about with stories. That's where I think there's a lot of value in group programs. I personally really, really love always being in 1 or 2 group programs, and then also having 1 or 2 intimate one-on-one mentors. That's kind of how I roll. That's like my happy balance now. And I think that the benefit of being in a group program, especially when you're focusing on these 6 elements, is you get to hear other people's stories of what occurred in their day-to-day life, what tripped them up that time, what are they celebrating, and it helps to keep you motivated, helps keep you engaged with your own growth, with the experience that you're having. And of course, having you as the one who's holding the space would just allow it to be really inclusive, loving, kind, and compassionate. So I think that's a fantastic program. Synergize Your Health, what's called?
Synergize Your Health group program. Yeah, you bet. And if people are listening and they're interested in looking a little bit further, there's obviously no commitment. I have a free quiz that you can check out. We're going to drop the link in the comments when we're done here. And the quiz is, what's your self-care synergy level? So you go through the quiz and it basically spits you out a result, and you'll have an idea after answering the questions if there's one element in your life that feels really out of balance, or if there's one that's maybe getting a lot of attention and maybe a few others maybe not so much. And it sort of helps you find that, okay, what area should I maybe be giving more attention to? So it's a super simple kind of fun quiz. You can check it out.
That's awesome. I think that's a great idea. And Kristy, we'll drop that link in the comments, and then maybe you can also just share it in the Empowered Woman Collective in the Facebook group as its own post, just so more people can see it. Because I mean, who isn't interested in what's going on in their body, in their health, in their life, and where they could use a little bit more support? I'm the one who will do those quizzes over and over.
Me too.
It's always changing. We're always evolving.
Totally. And it changes. And that's the thing. You do it one time and you do it 6 months from now, it might be a different result. And that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Christy, for coming and sharing your story, your space, your energy, your love, your smile, all of it. Thank you for sharing it with us here.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. And, we'll connect again soon.
Of course. And thank you everybody who listened and watched and joined us and commented in and shared your time, your energy, and your space. It's just so beautiful when we can come in together in community, even if we're not physically together, letting ourselves be held and feel into the essence of being together energetically from our hearts, from our souls. Thank you for your presence. It means so much to us.